Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. This thing on? I got the right voice for it. Listen, let me be the first to welcome you. My name is Alfred Edmond Jr. I'm Senior Vice President and Executive Editor at Large at Black Enterprise. You're in the right place at the right time, doing the right thing. So give yourself a round of applause. This is the first session of what's going to be a power-packed 2+ days that is designed to arm you with what you need to do to take action. Again, not just listen, not just be entertained, but take action to launch your businesses, grow your businesses, build your businesses, do business with one another, and make things happen. The success of this conference is what happens after the conference, and that's really all up to you. It's in that spirit that we really put a lot of thought into who do we want you to hear from first. Not only because he brings brilliant content wherever he goes, not only because he's an award-winning speaker, an award-winning coach, an award-winning trainer, but because he is going to set the tone for where your head needs to be from this point forward throughout the conference. Are your ears open? Is your mind open? Are you here with intention? Well, let me make sure that you understand who you're going to be listening to for the next hour or so. Jonathan Sprinkles is known as your connection coach. He's a television personality. He's an author of more than 10 books. He's a multiple award-winning keynote speaker. He has dedicated more than 15 years of media and professional speaking experience to training corporations and organizations, as well as individual professionals and entrepreneurs, just like you, to connect with your customers and to increase productivity and profits. Can I hear productivity? Y'all don't sound excited about it, though. You should be excited about this word, profits. I hope you know you're in business to make some money. Am I right? All right. Jonathan's advice has been featured, in addition to Black Enterprise, of course, ABC, Forbes, Fox News, Headline News, USA Today, Glamour, and on and on and on and on. He is the founder of Presentation Power, and he's trained hundreds of business influencers to learn how to lead, build trust, and get buy-in. Can I hear buy-in? You can't make money without buy-in. I like that word buy. Better than sell is buy. So you're talking about someone who has the right experience, the right connections, the right proven performance, and the past customer base who understands how to deliver what you need to be able to deliver, which is presentation power. You need to understand how to present yourself, whether it's a one-on-one conversation in this room, a conversation between you and a potential contractor, a potential client, customers, or a potential business partner or someone who might want to acquire your business someday. Your ability to communicate your message and to get buy-in is critical. So without further ado, please allow me to welcome to the stage Mr. Jonathan Sprinkles.
Everybody, put your hands like this. Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. Hey, hey, hey. I said clap your hands, everybody. Everybody clap your hands. Come on. I said clap your hands, everybody. Everybody clap your hands. Everybody say hola, hola, hey. Come on. Say hola, hola, hey. Come on, come on. Say ooh-wee. Come on. Say ooh-wee. Watch this, come on. Now throw your hands in the air and wave them like you just don't care. And if you're ready to be a Black Enterprise, everybody say, oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh, yeah. Everybody repeat after me at the top of your voice. Say, if it is going to be. Come on, if it is going to be, then it's up to me. So I choose to see only the possibilities. Come on, say, I control what I think. And I control how I feel. This is my favorite part. Everybody say, I know I'm great. Come on, say, I know I'm great. Speak to your future now. Say, I know I'm great. And that's for real. Every day, I will be the best me that I can possibly be. Now look at your neighbor in the eye and say, neighbor, oh neighbor, look here. You need to know something. Times have changed. Seasons change. And you better believe people change. But one thing, come on, get that look on your face and say, but one thing that will never change is that I will always look better than you. Give yourself a big round of applause, family. Come on. Put some energy in the room, fam. Come on, come on, come on. Come on, come on. Now, on behalf of Black Enterprise, for all of you who are not from Houston, by the way, how many of you are not from Houston? If you are, wave your hand. Wow, that's the majority of the room. On behalf of Black Enterprise, I want to say welcome, welcome to Houston. This is America's third largest city and America's most diverse city, Houston, Texas. Most people don't know either of those facts, but I'm telling you here that you are here in a great place. This is also known as one of the best places for African-American entrepreneurs. You're going to find here we have a unique opportunity here. You find Black surgeons, we have Black attorneys, we have Black school teachers, and you are now adding to this mix. You know, sometimes you go to those cities and you could tell this is like the blackest place in the entire city. Houston, you'll find, is a beautiful array of people. You'll find people of all different, not just shades, but all different nationalities here, and you're going to really enjoy it. So on behalf of Black Enterprise, as the first speaker, I want to say, first of all, thank you for coming to our city. We hope you buy a whole bunch of stuff before you leave, and we're going to have a good time. Now, I was raised by some very good people. They said, John, anytime, anybody, anywhere does anything good for you, you need to make sure that you tell them what? Hey, y'all just ungrateful back there? Go ahead. Anytime, anybody, anywhere does anything good for you, you need to make sure that you tell them what? Thank you. Yeah, so before I even open my mouth to share this little brief message that I have for you this evening, what I want to do is thank those who are responsible for making this come to pass. Now, I know that these folks are too many for me to begin to name, but let me just say that there's a lot of people who've been working really, really hard for months upon months, making sure that this event was the event for you. How many of you have ever been to something and you weren't sure what you were going to get, but by the time you left, you said, you said, God, I'm so glad I came. How many of you have ever been in one like that? They've been working for a long time to make sure that this has happened. Now, again, there's too many of them for me to begin to enumerate them one by one, but can you do me a favor for all of those folks? Can we just give the right energy, the right spirit in the room, and just give them a big round of applause? Black Enterprise has been working very hard. Thank you. And, you know, sometimes God has a way of just winking at you and just kind of having a way of doing those things that are just pretty amazing. People say God works in mysterious ways. I don't think they're so mysterious. I just think they're amazing anytime you see it. And for me to be introduced by someone who I admire so much, Mr. Alfred Edmond Jr., is truly like coming around full circle. I've been watching and studying him for so many years, and for him to be the one introducing me today is a true honor. So can we give it up for the work and the legacy, Mr. Alfred Edmond Jr. So let me tell you, folks, I don't have a lot of time. Black Enterprise didn't give me a lot of time to share with you this. However, I will tell you, though, that the topic that we're going to discuss, presentations that connect, this is the most profitable hour in all of business. Now, I know some of you are realtors, and you say, no, 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 you don't know how much I make. Some of you are attorneys, and you say, no, 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 you don't know when I close that big trial and I get the judgment in my favor. You don't know how much comes to me. You know, a commercial realtor can make $100,000 with one closing. I understand that. But how long does it take to do that closing? One of my clients named Ed Ryland, I said, if you have a large office building or a piece of commercial property that you're selling to Walmart or Target, and he's one of the best commercial realtors in the entire nation. He happens to be African American. He happens to be here in Houston, Texas. I said, well, how long does it take to close that? He said, well, it could take 3 years, could take 5 years. Some of them take 10 years. So if you divide that out by how many hours you had to spend versus the amount that you get, you start to see it's not quite as much as it looks like. Yeah, there's a lot on the end, but the work that you have to put in starts to show itself. And for those of you who might be attorneys, you know that if you close a big case, you could win tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, possibly millions of dollars, but there's so many hours that go into the preparation and the debriefs and all of those other things that go into it. You start to notice after a while, it starts to change. Well, let me tell you, the reason why I can stand flat-foot before you and tell you that this is the most profitable hour in business is because doing what I do, and in this year I've been able to celebrate a couple things. Not only did I turn 40 years old, I also celebrated 16 years in business. Thank you. So this is what I do. And having done this for as long as I have, I can tell you that I have generated millions of dollars in just speaking fees alone. So I'm not here to tell you what I think. I'm here to tell you what I know. As a matter of fact, when I finish with this, I have to pack my bags to get on the plane so I can do more of this. So you're not hearing from somebody who's one of the gurus, quote unquote, who's just going to tell you about what used to be popular or about what they tell other people to do, but they don't do it themselves. Everything that I'm going to tell you, I understand, is going to be a little bit unconventional. I don't think like most of the people think. I don't do what most of the people do. But I promise you, everything I tell you will be the truth. And I also promise you that everything I tell you, I will back up with fact. Now, it might rub a few people wrong because I'm going to irritate some folks. I'm okay with that because I'm going to tell you what really works. I have one reason to be here, and that's to help you. I live in Houston, Texas. I'm a Houstonian. I've been here for over 15 years, and I'm excited about just being here. I don't have anything to sell you. I don't have any kind of ulterior motive. I'm here to give you some information. As a matter of fact, I'm going to give you some things along the way. Is that okay? I want to give you some things along the way. So if you listen, if you don't listen, let me be very honest. It won't make a bit of difference in my bank account, but it'll make all the difference in yours. I'm here to share with you what really works. So let me start off by giving you a gift. Is that okay? Can I give you a gift? So I wrote a book that was, I'll say, pretty successful. I was very blessed to have it become #1 in 3 different countries. And it was one that I just kind of put together while I was sitting in the back of a room, kind of like this, and some people were talking. I said, you know what? Nobody's doing it right. I heard speaker after speaker after speaker, and all these people made mistake after mistake after mistake, and they were all very well-intended. These people were, some of them were doctors, and others were high-level business people, but all of these people were doing the same thing wrong over and over again. I said, you know, somebody needs to write the book to help people so that they can do it the right way. I said, well, why can't somebody be me? So I sat down, I started penning down a couple of notes, and I wrote a couple more, and I wrote a couple more, and before I knew it, I had a book, and I started to share it with a few more folks. They said, man, nobody else talks about it like this. The way you see things is completely different than the majority of people who I see out here. Yeah, I watch TED Talks all day long, and they talk about how do you make people laugh, and how do you make people like you, but nobody talks about it the way that you talk about it. Said, you really need to do something with this, and so I started to turn it into a little bit more, and eventually I had a book. And that book started to take off, and it took off, and it took off. And then 3 best-selling countries later, it is now here. So I want to give it to you, if you're okay with that. I'd like to give you a copy of this book. And all you have to do is turn your clicker on, Jonathan, and then you can do it. See, I do this, but I need it. So I want to give this to you. Can you just do me a favor? Can you just do next slide? Perfect. Perfect. So all you have to do is just text the word connection to 72,000. 72,000. Now this is what this book is going to talk about. Everything that I'm going to discuss right now, you're going to be able to get in this book. So for those of you who are interested in this and having it for free, you can have it yourself. Now, just so you know, this is what's going to happen. When you text the word connection, you're going to have to reply yes. Okay, so this is one of those, they make sure these days that you don't spam people. So you have to say yes, and then it's going to say, click right here. And when you click it, then another screen is going to come up, and then that's where you enter the email address, and you just tell me where you want me to send it. There's absolutely no obligation to you other than that. All you have to do is just take it. That's it. So there's 2 steps. Number 1, you just type in 72,000. You write in the word connection. When you get it, then you just click yes, and you go from there. If anybody has a problem with it, let me know. Some people don't know, but they've disabled what they call short codes, like 72,000. When you do that, that's called a short code. Some of you have disabled it on your phone, so when you send that off, If nothing comes back, then let me know afterwards, and I'll see what I can do to help you out. Okay? Fair enough? Wait, by the way, folks, this is interactive, not act like you're interested. So, we like to talk to each other, right? All right, so if I say fair enough, you all say yes? All right, very good. So let's talk about it. How many of you have ever seen this show before? Everybody wait a minute. If you didn't raise your hand, you didn't understand that question, right? Everybody needs to have watched this show, Shark Tank. How many of you would say Shark Tank is in one of your top 3 to 5 favorite shows? Yeah, it should be. Why? Because Shark Tank is all about mastering the pitch. It's all about mastering being able to captivate an audience very quickly. As a matter of fact, just a couple of weeks ago, I had someone on my show, Chris Gray, who was the inventor of an app called Scally. And he was the most controversial Shark Tank guest to date. As a matter of fact, they started cursing over him, started dropping F-bombs over him. You just have to see the show. You have to type in Scally, Scholly, Shark Tank. And you can watch it on YouTube. They literally started dropping F-bombs, and they walked off the show because of him. Well, what they didn't say was that they actually manufactured that. He had been speaking for an hour already, and they made it seem as though he had just stood up there, said, "Hi, my name is Chris Gray, and I'm here to help kids get scholarships," and they started throwing money at him. No, he had already been talking for an hour. And then you see Bob Herjavec walk off the set, all mad, quote unquote. Turns out they actually took a clip from the end of the day. He was just leaving. So, FYI, reality shows aren't very real. But nevertheless, Shark Tank is a show that I love. How many of you have watched at least 10 episodes of Shark Tank? How many of you have watched at least 50 episodes of Shark Tank? How many of you have watched the whole season of Shark Tank? How many of you are so good at watching Shark Tank, you already know within like 10 seconds, she ain't getting no money. Right? Yeah, I'm like that too. I'm like, oh, this brother's dead. Why is that? Why is that? How do we know already whether somebody's going to get the money or not? Because confidence, because what? Because presentation, what else? Because they don't know their numbers. That's the worst, right? What are your sales? I don't know. You already know they're not getting any money. What else? What else? Lack of passion, the overvaluation, right? There's a lot of reasons, yes. Bad products, or sometimes people have a product but not a business, okay? So we all know now a lot more about business than we did several years ago when Shark Tank first came on. Well, I need you all to help me out. I need about 4 or 5 people. You don't have to say anything. I just need about 4 or 5 people to help me out. Let's go. 1, 2, thank you, brother. 3 and 4. Come on, and 5. How about my man right here? Everybody, come on up. Come on up. Come on up. Give them a big round of applause, please. Come on up. Come on up. Come on up. Here we go. Just make a line right here. Now, I want to introduce you all to our friends and family here. By the way, over the next few days, it's a really, really smart idea that when somebody's asking for questions or volunteers, it's really smart that you make it your business to be one of them. Why? How many of you have a business? How many of you have a product or idea that you would love to get more customers for? Raise your hand high. Show me the whole armpit, please. Thank you. How many of you know that when you're in front of an audience, this is called free advertising? So these people are the smartest people in the room. Why? Because they chose to get this free advertising in front of all of you. How many of you have ever spoken in front of a group, and then after a while, people come up to you and say, "Hey, here's my business card. I'd like to talk." Why don't you make this you next time, folks? See, this is what I mean. I think differently than everybody else. I think differently than the majority of people. The reason why this is so smart is because these are the things that make the difference for you. So let's introduce ourselves to our people. What is your name?
My name is Caleb Banks II.
Caleb Banks II. He just sounds rich. Caleb Banks II, where are you from?
Houston, Texas. This is my hometown.
All right, fantastic, fantastic. Give it up for Caleb Banks II. What is your name?
Agnes Chukwu,
Hey, everybody say, "Hey, Agnes." Agnes, where are you from?
Houston, Texas.
Another Houstonian. Very good. Very good. And by the way, what is your business?
Tea cake chef. I'm wearing the shirt right now. My dad and I, we bake and sell tea cakes every day.
Fantastic. Good for you, brother. And what is your business, Agnes?
Black Excellence. We are trying to build up young entrepreneurs in our community, building up professionalism and cultural awareness.
I love it. I love it. I love it. And what is your name?
Marion Josu.
Everybody say, hey, Marion. Hey, Marion. Marion, where are you from?
I'm from Philadelphia.
All right. Any other Philly folks in the house? Okay. All right.
And my company is Cake Me Cakes. We specialize in helping you make an enjoyable experience by making a cake in only 90 seconds. Yeah, 90secondcake.com.
And there's no microwave involved?
There is a microwave involved. You got it.
Got it. Okay. I love it. I love it. Very good. What's your name, brother?
My name is Harry Kennedy.
Everybody say, what's up, Harry? Harry, where are you from?
I'm from upstate New York, Rochester. Very small city.
Okay. All right. And what's your business?
So my business is HAK Electronics. We teach STEM education to high school students, and myself being a former engineer, I know how to put parts in those systems, so we teach students the same concepts.
I love it. I love it. I love it. Come on, come on. Give it up. Give it up. And what is your name?
My name is Keelan Swain.
Everybody say, hey, Keelan. Hey, Keelan. Keelan, where are you from?
How y'all doing, by the way? Y'all good? I'm from Houston, Texas.
All right, another Houstonian. Now, all these folks from out of town, and I happen to somehow choose 4 Houstonians. Okay, and what do you do?
So we create sports technology to improve the performance of athletes, and yes, I have met some of these people in the audience before.
Okay, all right, very good, very good. Now, let's just play a little game of Shark Tank, but we're going to do it a little differently. Everybody take a step forward, please, so everybody can see you. So I have a question for you. We cheated a little bit. We know their name. We know where they're from. We know what they do. But let me ask you a question. From left to right, which one is the most successful? Which one is the most educated? Which one has the best business plan? Which one is the one who is most ready for investors? Which one is the one who you could trust with your money? Who would you rather be a customer of? Which one is the one who is the better leader of their people? Which one has the highest potential? When you look at them, all of those are fair categories, and all of these are bases on which we judge businesses. Because truth be told, we don't judge the business. We judge the business owner. You are the business. Now, the truth is, we really don't know. Now, we have the ones who we like maybe a little bit more because of something that may be an affinity. Well, this person is from New York, so I like this person better. Or this is another Houstonian, so I like this person better. Or this one is all about science and technology, so yeah, this is what I'm all about too. Oh, they like cakes, or they do microwaving. I'm a microwaver. You better believe that. Right? So now we have an affinity, but based on face value alone, which one is ready to blow up? We don't know. That's the problem. And that is the opportunity. Give them a big round of applause, please. Thank you very much. Thank you. Today, folks, I'm going to share with you some of my tips, some of my tricks, some of my steps. This is what I do at my event that I do about once a year. I do it in July. It's called Presentation Power. You may want to write that down. Presentation Power. It's the same as the book that I just mentioned earlier. It's going to be July 18th through 20th here in Houston. I teach people, how do you differentiate yourself? How do you master that pitch? How do you get buy-in to your message and to your brand? How do you take people who might be doubters and turn them into believers? Again, I didn't know all of this stuff coming up, but I had to learn this piece by piece, one mistake at a time. Now listen, I don't expect you to hear me until you know me. Please, if those of you who are taking notes, I want you to please write this down. Start here. They won't hear you until they know you. They won't hear you until they know you. Underneath that, I want you to write this, please. People don't care how much you know until they know why you care. I told you I think differently here. People don't care how much you know until they know why you care. I know that you care. That's no mystery. That's no mistake. There's no riddle in that. I know that you care, but why you care. See, people unite around their whys. Most people talk about what we do, but very rarely do we ever talk about why we do it. The what can be differentiated between each and every person here. I don't know how many people in this room right now. There might be that amount of what's in this business, in this room. There are X amount of businesses in this room. But we can have similar whys that connect us all. So people don't care how much you know until they know why you care. So what does that mean for you practically? Begin every presentation sharing your why. What are the circumstances behind your convictions? How did you come to this point of understanding what you understand? Were you always like this, or did something happen? Let's go back into the comic book world. Batman was born who? Bruce Wayne. How did Batman become a superhero? What happened? His parents got shot in front of him. And so he decided he wanted to devote the rest of his life to fighting crime. Superman. Was he just born that way? No, he had what? He came from a different planet called Krypton. And some other stuff happened. He became a Superman, right? So, but either way, we understand that there's a why behind his story. Every great hero has a hero's journey. What is the journey that you've come through in order to get you to where you are? You know, this goes back a little bit deeper into what I normally teach, so I have to kind of fight my natural instinct because I'm a teacher by nature. People want to know how you got here. Now, a lot of times we have these things about ourselves that make us think, well, you know, I can't tell them about this. Well, I can't share this part. But the truth is, one of my presentation power principles is no pain, no gain. Why? Because the more you've messed up, the more it validates your success. This is a little contrary to the way that most people think. The more you've messed up, if you started off bankrupt and now you're a millionaire, whatever you did must have worked. If you started off divorced and now you found the love of your life, whatever you did must have worked. If you started off 400 pounds and now you're in shape and you could do 200 push-ups, whatever you did must have worked. What is your story? So you've got to start off talking a little bit about your story. So that beautiful lady on the left, her name is Shirley. Oops. That handsome gentleman on the right, his name is Ernie, and that's me in the middle. I'm only 2 years old, but me and my dad already have matching afros. Now, the reason why I love to share this picture is because, well, it was the first, the last, and the only picture that my family and I had together. Because my parents divorced when I was about 4 or 5 years old. So I lived with my mom and my 2 sisters in a 1-bedroom apartment above my grandmother in South Central Los Angeles. How many of you know about South Central LA? For those of you who don't know, that's like the capital G in ghetto. Not the place you want your kids to grow up. And so my father saw that and he took me with him. And we became really close. It was kind of like that movie Pursuit of Happiness. That movie was really good, wasn't it? You know, I felt like Will's tears were my tears because when he was going through it, I knew exactly what he was talking about because my father and I moved around. As a matter of fact, I lived in 7 different households before age 13. I was always the new kid on the block. Oftentimes, I went to schools that were predominantly white, and I'm predominantly black. And so I was the sellout, the Oreo wannabe, and all those other things. They told me, you know, when I made an A, they said, you acting white, like there's something real black about flunking. And so I was trying to figure out who I was and who I was going to be in this world. And so a lot of the skills that I learned that I'm sharing with you today come from those scenarios there, from having to figure out who I could trust and where I stood in this world. See, I've learned how to be pretty good as a speaker, but I'm even better as an observer. See, speaking has made me a lot of money, but listening has made me a fortune. And so what I've understood now is how do you connect with people really quickly? I can look at people now and just tell you a lot more about you than you think than you're even projecting. And so my whole philosophy is predicated upon what Shirley, the teacher, and Ernie, the businessman, have made me into. The teacher in me is the one that makes me want to keep going deeper and deeper and share with you every single precept that I can. The businessman is the one who understands that it's all about people. He's the one who taught me that it's all about not just doing what you said you would do more than you said you would do. And that's what makes a good business person, what he or she is. And so thus, that's how I arrived today. So everything that I'm telling you has been brought through a course of 40 years, and it's been put through all the rigors. And now I'm very excited to say that I know for a fact how to get everybody here to a place of prominence. If you don't mind, for the next few minutes, I'd like to share that with you. So what I want to do is I want to share with you the formula. Now, again, I believe that everything that you've ever been taught about presentations is wrong. See, most of us are trying to pitch our business. We say, well, I'm in the lawn care business, or I'm in the accounting service business, or I make these cakes, or I'm in the security business. Well, that's nice, but what I want to do is I want to reach deep inside of you and find that thing that only you can do. I want you to look at it and how can you position yourself, and so that you could give that presentation that only you can give. Sin number one that we all commit: thou shalt not undervalue thine own experiences. There's a message inside each and every one of you that only you can give. Now, I didn't do so well in economics class, and I do remember Dr. Gerasi. I do remember him putting a chart on the board, and he talked about supply and demand. And I do remember that when the supply was low, that made the price go up. What gives you value is your uniqueness. What gives you value is when you find that thing that only you can do. There might be many realtors in this room. There might be many accountants in this room. There might be many attorneys in this room. But what's that thing that only you can do? What's that message that only you have? Some people say, John, you have a gift for this. No, it's actually a skill. Gifts are things that are given to you, and I do believe that there was a seed planted. But over the years, I've had to develop and hone this so that now I can just kind of listen to you very quickly and turn out that thing, and we can start to work with it and play with it a little bit until we find that thing that's completely unique. Let me show you exactly what I'm talking about. Here's a case study here. There's a lady named Dr. Jenna Dyson. Jenna, she has a PhD in nonprofit management, but she also has a master's degree in the mental health world. Her mother had mental health issues, and she struggled with depression. Jenna Dyson, she said, hey, I've got a topic. I want to talk about from stress to success. I said, no, you don't. And here's why. Add this to your notes, please. Never make your audience admit that they have a problem. 21 strategies to overcome procrastination. You put that on your desk, what have you just told your boss? I procrastinate. 21 strategies to get more done in less time. What have you just told your boss? I'm efficient. So never make your audience admit they have a problem. And so I remember I was on a coaching call. She hired me to help her to build her brand. I was on a coaching call in the Houston Galleria. For those of you who haven't been there, go there. It's lovely. So we went to the Houston Galleria. I was right by the Apple store, and I was talking to her. She said, you know, this is what I want to do. And I was saying, okay, but Jenna, tell me a little bit more about yourself. Tell me a little bit more about you. And And so we just started talking, and she said, it's really about the way that you think. Because, people can literally rewire their brain just by the way that they think. If they think differently, then no matter what happened in the past, even if you've had emotional trauma, your brain can literally rewire itself. I mean, the synapses will rewire themselves based on what you say. I said, Jenna, that's it. You're no longer the stress to success. You are think your way up. And what we're going to talk about is the 21 mental habits of high-performance people. Now people will buy this in droves and droves because they want their entire organization to think their way up. So when you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. Dr. Wayne Dyer said that first, and I believe it's still true today. Here's another example. Myra Shaw, she's right here in Houston, Texas as well. Fantastic study here. Now, Myra, she was what we call a corppreneur. Myra had a full-time job. She was selling futures with an oil and gas company. She was doing very well, but she knew that there was something more in her. How many of you have ever felt that? You've got more in you. How many of you have ever wanted to write a book? Yeah, or share your story so you could help people or possibly make more money in your business? I understand. Good. Myra said, look, I want to make something more out of what I have. Now, she was doing very well. She had a 6-figure job. The ironic part about it was that she didn't even have a degree. Myra started off as an office clerk, and she just paid attention and worked her way up all the way to where she was. I said, good for you, Myra. We're going to make this happen. Now, when she came to me, she said, I am the extraordinary maven. I said, well, what is an extraordinary maven? She said, well, I don't know, but somebody said it sounds good. I said, well, that person lied to you. I said, what we need to do is add this to your notes, please. Create your own ecosystem. Create your own ecosystem. What we did for Myra was I created an ecosystem around her. It's called the Maven's Way. Myra's now, she didn't even have a degree, but we created her own MBA, the Maven Business Academy. So now Myra has created her own ecosystem where she teaches women, just like many of you, who want to grow their brands and do better with balancing the business and the beauty part of your life to bring those two together. And that's what she does. There's the Maven's Way. And now she has actually, let's go back. Dr. Jenna, she actually quit her job. She has sold over 10,000 copies of this book, and she has now created a 6-figure business. Myra has also done very well in her business as well. She no longer works for the oil and gas company. She's now doing this on her own full time. June Pinkney, as you can tell, I'm a little bit excited about this. June Pinkney is another one. She was an accountant. June Pinkney said, I've got to figure out what to do. I was a single mom, but I know that I have a story to tell. Listen, folks, there's a story that only you can tell. She said, look, I was a single mom, and, now I've managed to work my way through it. And my whole thing was, I just learned how to do it my own kind of way. Instead of asking for help, I just found a way. And ironically, crazy story, I told her to buy a book called List Yourself, L-I-S-T. She said, oh, I got that book, but I don't know why you asked me to get it. The one, Lift Yourself. I said, what? I didn't tell you to get Lift Yourself. I said, get List Yourself. But I think we just figured something out. By the way, add this to your notes, please. You cannot copyright a book title. On my show, I just had an intellectual property attorney on, and he was delineating all the truths about book titles. Now, I wouldn't create a book called, like, The Bible for so many reasons. But if you find a book title that works, one of the things I'd say is copy genius instead of creating mediocrity. If you find a book title, but it was published like 50 years ago, but it's still one that still works for you, you can also do that. So we chose to use that book, Lift Yourself. And this is very important. Add this to your notes, please. 21-day challenge. Many of you may not want to write a full book, but you can create a 21-day challenge for people. Get your money right in 21 days. Lose 15 pounds in 21 days. You can find the love of your life in 21 days. You can love yourself better in 21 days. Create a 21-day challenge. Many of you don't have the time or interest in writing a full-on program, but you can definitely do a 21-day challenge. I'm showing y'all how to get paid here, folks. You can create a 21-day challenge. She did it. This is what I wrote for her. The one day at a time guide to having it all without losing yourself. We said lift, L-I-F-T, live in freedom and truth. As you see, June did her book signing down here, and she's well on her way to a great success. Here's another one, another example of how you can create your own message here that nobody else can do. Nick is another client of mine. Nick Zizi, Z-I-Z-I. You know, he said Zizi like zebra. He was known as your potential coach. I said, she could be your potential coach. He could be your potential coach. That's anybody. So instead, let's go deeper. Maybe it's your name that makes you unique. Maybe your name is what you can use to make yourself unique. By the way, there's a great book I want all of you to go get. By the way, for those of you who are on Amazon Prime like I am, I like to buy stuff when I'm there in the seat, so it'll be at my house by the time I get home. There's a book called The 21 Immutable Laws of Marketing by Al Ries and Jack Trout. This is called The Law of the Category. 21 Immutable Laws of Marketing by Al Ries and Jack Trout. This is the law of the category. What they're saying is create your own category. So Nick created his own category by saying, I said, Nick, ZZ like zebra, this is what we're going to do. We're going to teach kids, this is what he talks to, he's a youth minister, said, how about teaching kids to unleash their zebra? You know that zebras have all unique stripes? That no two zebras have the same stripe pattern? And so what we do is we teach kids how to go from not from A to Z, but from Z to A. So you create your own uniqueness. Here's another example of what you can do. Tim, this is what I'm so extremely proud of. Tim just released a video. Tim is blind, and he's going to climb Mount Kilimanjaro. Now, his book is called It's Impossible Until You Do It. Tim is a college student. He's been blind since he was 15 because he had cancer. And he called his mom in the room and said, Mom, if I'm going to be blind soon, I want to make sure that your beautiful face is the last thing I see. Tim is in college now. He's going to graduate soon with a 3.9 GPA. And he's going to climb Mount Kilimanjaro as soon as he graduates. So Tim and I have gotten together. He hired me to help him to build his brand. And so what he's doing now is his whole message is that instead of it being impossible, it is Tim-possible. So again, there's a lot of things. Darren Harris, he's a nonprofit person. He's helped over 10,000 people in the state of Louisiana get their help. Get help for mental health. He's literally rewriting the history in mental health. You're going to see a movie about him at some point really soon. I can guarantee you that. Well, he said, nobody ever taught me this. So what we did was we created the unwritten rules of leadership. Folks, there's so many ways that you can do it. I'm just showing you a smorgasbord of different ways in which you can do the message that only you can have. My point is, it's in you. You may not have ever known how to find it, but this is what I'm here for. I'm here to help you. Now, let me show you some tips on how to position yourself. Everybody say position. Every message requires tension. Add this to your notes, please. Tension makes people pay attention. Tension makes people pay attention. Most people begin their presentations based on what they want to say. Wrong. When you begin your presentation or when you begin thinking about it, you need to begin with two things. If you could just nail these two things, this will make every single presentation that you do more effective. You will grab their attention and you won't let them go. Two things that everybody needs to know. Number one, what's in it for them? Add this to your notes, please. What's the big, juicy outcome? What's the big, juicy outcome? I also consult as well. I consulted for a large oil and gas company here in Houston, Texas. And I had one of their top VPs who was doing this huge rollout campaign. And they had all the steps and the 5 points and all of this. And I said, but look, all these people, they don't really care. All they want to know is, what's in it for them? And they said, you know what? I never thought about that. 9 times out of 10, we don't look and enumerate all of the benefits of people going along with what we're telling them to do. You need to be able to list at least 3 big, juicy outcomes. What are you going to be able to do after having listened to this presentation? The next thing, what's at stake? What's in it for them and what's at stake? There's a couple terms I want to teach you. One is called opportunity cost. Everybody say opportunity cost. Come on, say it loud and proud. Say opportunity cost. Every entrepreneur needs to understand what opportunity cost is. Opportunity cost is the price they will have to pay if they don't take action now. Opportunity cost is the price they will have to pay if they don't take action now. You sit in the pews every Sunday. The pastor is selling you a message. And they're saying at the end, you need to make a choice when? Not next week, not when you feel like it, not tomorrow. You need to make that choice now. And if he or she has done his or her job correctly, you get floods of people coming up saying, you know what, I need this right now. Why is now important? Add this to your notes, please. FOMO, fear of missing out. You've got to create that fear of missing out. Why is now important? So you've got to create your whole pitch, your whole presentation structured so that now is the most important time in their life. Not later, now. If you don't do that, then your whole presentation is useless. You're going to lose them to texting. You're going to lose them to Facebook, Snapchat, Twitter. You're going to lose them to that email that they forgot that they needed to send. Why is now important? What's at stake? So a great message has to have 3 outcomes. 3 things need to happen when you do this correctly and when you can nail what's in it for them and what's at stake. These are the 3 things that are going to happen. Number 1, it's going to resonate. Number 2, they will remember it. So when we say it'll resonate, you have to add this to your notes, please. Think big headline. What is the big idea? What is the big idea? It should resonate with them emotionally. What emotion are you going after? Why? Because people remember the emotions, not the facts. So what's the emotion that you're going after? You got to think about that so that way it will resonate with them so they say, I want in. Then what happens afterwards is that they will remember it and they'll be able to repeat it. If they cannot repeat it, then your message is dead. If they cannot repeat it, the time that you spent in front of them was completely useless. If they cannot repeat it to others, then what you've just done is completely wasted your time. Why? Because add this to your notes, please. Everyone has to answer to someone else. So you did this great presentation, this great pitch to the board. Well, the board has to go talk to everybody else, and now they have to get final approval. But if they are stumbling and trying to remember the key points of your presentation, then everything you just did was completely wasted. So a great message is one that's simple. It's one that resonates, and it's one that is repeatable. In order to do so, there's a concept that I'm going to teach you called the J-curve. Everybody say J-curve. J-curve. Come on, say J-curve. J-curve. I'm going to break this down for you very simply. This is my way of helping you. This is my way of making sure that you, my friends and family who are here at the BE Entrepreneur Summit, that anytime you talk to people, whether it's one-on-one or one-to-many, you're going to start seeing some results that you've never seen before. You're going to be able to talk to people and have them say, oh, really? Tell me more. When they get your business card, they're going to put it in that special pocket. You know, the one that they actually follow up on. Now when you hand out your business card, you're going to go, where's that thing going? Where's it going? They're going to put it in that special pocket. And when you call, they'll answer. Use that, write down that J curve in your notes, please. There's 3 components to the J curve that will make you memorable. And I don't care what you do. I don't care what industry you say you're in. I'm going to explain to you how you can use this. And then, before we go, I'll also break down a couple of real-world examples of how this is being used for people to close more business. Is that a good use of our time? I want to be very practical for you. So in the J curve, the bottom half is worse. The top half is better. There's 3 components to it. Number 1, you got to make them sick. Add this to your notes, please. People don't buy where there is no need. Unless it's 4th of July sale and it was just too good to pass up. I mean, let's just be honest. People don't buy where there is no need. So you got to make them sick. You got to show them how their life is not as good as they think it is. How there's a train coming and they're on the track and they're just do, and they have no idea what they're missing out on. You got to make them sick. Next, you make them very sick. You show them how life is going to get even worse if they don't take action. Life is going to get real bad for you if you miss this opportunity. You will not like to see what happens if you don't take advantage of what I'm about to show you. And then finally, you make them well. Number 1, what's step number 1? You make them, then you make them, then you make them. Absolutely. Now watch this. Let me show you a case study. This is an actual video from Forbes Leadership. By the way, anybody here who's on Twitter? How many of you are on Twitter? Okay, good. If you're on Twitter, I highly suggest that you look up Forbes Leadership. They have fantastic articles for you to not only consume for yourself, but you should be retweeting them as well. Why is it important to retweet them? Because then they see those who are retweeting them, and then they pay attention to you. And one day you could also be featured in Forbes Leadership. I told you I think a little bit differently. I don't like to pay a whole bunch of money for all that stuff that you have to pay for a lot of times. You know, you have these big, large campaigns. You could just do it very simply. Forbes Leadership had a video that they did. And I'm going to break it down frame by frame and show you how they use the J curve. Number 1, it starts off like this: 4 ways to be more confident at work. So it says, most of us have had a workplace moment like this. We look at a colleague who XYZ, 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 okay? Here's the first frame. Ever look at a colleague who was just promoted and think, I know just as much as he does. How did he do that? How many of us have ever been there? Okay, good. Next, this was the next frame. In some situations, confidence can actually be more important than competence. What are they doing? They're making you sick. Like they're talking about the problem. Next, this can be especially troubling for women who tend to report lower levels of confidence at work. So now they're saying, and by the way, you're in trouble and you didn't even know you were in trouble. Now they're making you what? Very sick. Luckily, confidence can be built over time, and here are a few tricks. Now they're making you well. Are you seeing how this plays out? It's very easy when you see how this is done. I'm going to show you another case study. This one is my favorite one. This one is so brilliant. I want to spend a little time on this one. This one is so good. It's called the simple heart test. This one is, oh my God, I love it. So I don't expect you to read all this. I'm going to break it down line by line. So it's just really simple. It's a little ad that they placed, but it was so expertly and brilliantly put that I had to take frame by frame so you can see exactly how this goes. This is how it is. This is the literal words here. Fact: nearly half of those who die from heart attacks each year never showed prior symptoms of heart disease. Right now, millions of people over age 40 are suffering from heart disease and don't even know it. How many of you are over 40? How many of you are starting to go, wait a minute, maybe I'll... What they're doing is they're making us sick. Listen, they never show prior symptoms. So what it says is if you're 40 or over, you could be a candidate for this. Next, you make them very sick. This is the next fact. If you suffer cardiac arrest outside of a hospital, you have just a 7% chance of survival. What they're saying is, if you don't read the rest of this ad, you're going to die. I mean, you can't make anybody any sicker than that, right? Watch this. Then they add in a bonus step. You make them decide. Make them choose. Make them decide, is today the day? It says, don't get caught off guard. Know your risk when? Now. You see how the stuff that I was teaching you earlier on is now coming to play here? This is what it looks like in a real presentation, whether it's written or whether it is spoken. And then finally, you make them well. Renowned cardiologist Dr. Chauncey Crandall has partnered with newmaxhealth.com to create, watch this, a simple, easy to complete online test that helps you understand your heart attack risk factors. Somebody said, sign me up, I want to know right now. Sign me up, I want to know. And he's not even 40. You see how easy that is? When you do that J curve, it becomes easier for you to think like they think. See, we may not remember the facts, but we do remember how we feel. We may not remember every single detail, but we know that for some reason, it's time for us to make a move. This is what it takes for us to create the presentations that connect. Add this to your notes as the final notes, please. The more you connect, the more you collect. When we do our presentations, whether it's one-on-one or whether it's one-to-many, I want you to think about 3 reasons why somebody would want to do business with you, and then cross them out. And then to the side of that, write down 3 reasons why people have to do business with you, because their business depends on it. We've got to get into the things that speak to the things that matter to them. We've got to start looking at it very differently. Again, my method is very unconventional compared to the way that most people teach. Most people will tell you to do 3 points in a poem. They tell you to tell them what you're going to tell them, and then tell them what you told them. But that's not how you make money. That's not how you put the money in your pocket. Now, again, I told you Black Enterprise hadn't given me a whole bunch of time, but I want to give you, for those of you who walked in late, an opportunity to make this happen. I want to give you a free resource where you can just get all the notes from what I just talked about here. You can just text the word connection to 7200. You're going to get a little note that says, do you want it? All you have to do is say yes. You click it, and then you're going to see something else at the end. And all you have to do is just put in your email address and tell me where you want me to send it. I am here to help you. I'm only going to be here for a little bit longer. As I said, I have to go and get myself packed because I have a week full of travel. But as I am here, I'm here to help. My name is Jonathan Sprinkles. And remember, points are powerful, but connection is key. God bless you. Thank you.
Let's hear it. Let's hear it for Jonathan Sprinkles. Listen, we're going to give Jonathan a few more minutes to make sure he's left everything we can get out of him. Okay. So take it like another 5 minutes and
okay. Cool.
Use it.
Let's do it like this. Rather than it just being about me, I just wanted to teach, as you could tell. I want to make this about you. Just give me one person. Let's see if we could just take one person. She raised her hand first. She's like, me. How about you? Yes. Come on up. Give her a big round of applause. Come on up. Yeah, she's going to come on up. The lady in the yellow, okay. Ask for one. I got 2. That's okay. You can come on up too. We'll work it out. Give them both a big round of applause. Okay, what is your name?
Christian Agba.
Christian. Everybody say, hey, Christian. Christian, where are you from?
San Antonio by way of Detroit.
San Antonio. All right, fantastic. And Detroit. Any other Detroiters in the house?
Hey.
All right. Hey. All right. And what is your name? Brene. Everybody say, what's up, Brene?
Oh, Brene White.
Brene, where are you from?
I'm from here, but I was born in Germany.
Okay, where'd you just come from, Brene?
Here?
Here, okay, fantastic. Well, because, I went to elementary school in, okay, baby, where's your mail go right now? Okay, fantastic. Tell me a little bit, we're going to do a little Shark Tank version, okay? We're going to do a little mini Shark Tank. You have literally 30 seconds, and I want you to just tell us a little bit about your business. Go.
Bethany East PR is a full-service public relations firm focusing on economic development and foreign direct investment consulting for investors in Africa, China, and South America. We deal mainly with government regulatory organizations in Central Texas.
Okay, fantastic. Give her a big round of applause. Got it. 30 seconds. Let's go.
Okay, so I have my own blog. It's called Bees Hive, and I'm working on starting my own marketing agency where I can do digital marketing, where I show customers that social media is a big impact on their business.
Okay, give her a big round of applause. All right, ladies, step into my office. Let's make the magic happen. Can you give her the microphone back one more time, please? No, it's your turn. Okay. Go ahead and take a step up. How do you think you did?
I think I did a little good. I have a problem with projecting.
Okay, that's why you have a mic. You're good. There we go. What was the best part?
Where I mentioned my consumer audiences.
Okay. What would you do differently?
Probably share that we recently got 3 hotels funded in San Antonio. Probably mentioned that we've represented San Antonio in a lot of different...
That's important. Yes, you may want to do that. Yeah. Watch this. Add this to your notes, please. This is one of my little tricks. Thank you very much, Alfred, for a little extra time. Rather than tell them what you do, tell them what you just did. When people say, what do you do? Rather than saying, I'm in the healthcare business, I'm in the travel industry, tell them what you just did. What are the biggest outcomes that you just created for your clients? I just saved somebody $25 million. Now I'm interested. If you're an attorney, I just kept somebody out of jail knowing they were guilty. No, I'm just playing. Okay, tell me what you just did. Let's try it again. But instead of telling them what you do, both of you, tell them what you just did. Give your biggest outcome, that big, juicy outcome for the clients. Take a step forward.
Okay. All right.
Let's do your 30 seconds that way.
30 seconds. Okay. Bethany East PR is a full-service public relations firm. We focus on economic development and foreign direct investment, mainly, or most recently, allowing us to infiltrate the south side of San Antonio, bringing full-scale...
That sounds like gang activity. Hold on. We just infiltrated. Okay.
Not infiltrate, my bad. Okay, so we'll say allowing us to gather investors to fund 2 4-star hotels in the south side of San Antonio, as well as engage investors from Africa, China, and South America.
Fantastic. Now we get it. Take a breath.
Yes.
I want you to deliver it like all these people are potential investors.
Ooh.
Okay?
Okay.
She said, ooh, y'all got money. Let's do it. Let's try it again. Take a breath. I want you to deliver it with confidence. I want you to look. Here's another little trick. Thank you very much, Alfred, for giving me a little bit extra time to work with them. Rather than make eye contact, what I want you to do is make eye connection. Eye connection is this. How many of you feel like I've looked at you in your eye at some point today? Okay, when I was looking at you in the eye, how many of you are wondering, why is this man staring at me? Right, I understand. That creates tension. So rather than doing this, what I do is I lock into one person. I don't care if there's 5,000 people in the audience. I'm not talking to 5,000. Right now, I'm talking to just you. How do you know when somebody's talking to you? Because they're what? Looking at you. So the way to get your audience engaged in your message is you take the time, even though you know that all these people are over here, and all these people are over here, and all these people are over here, you take the time to make eye connection with just one person. Can you do that? Can you do that? Yes. All right, let's do it. Make eye connection. Let's go. You're giving us time. Now we're going to make the magic happen.
The EB5 Investor Program is a government regulatory organization partnered with the USCIS, which is the Immigration Office, to allow established immigrant investors, to work with economic development organizations to invest in development projects along many
Tell
city
us what
projects.
you just did. Now we're talking about what you just, see, here's what we're looking for. You want to connect with them. Connect with them.
Yes.
Think about what it is that they want. What's at stake?
What's at stake?
What's in it for them,
Okay.
and what's at stake?
Okay.
Okay?
Yes.
So what's the benefit of the benefit? What's the product of the product? When people get what you do for them, how does it change the world?
Awesome. Okay. When you invest in EB5, you not only invest in your future and great returns on your money, but you also invest in your immigration status. So you'll be able to gain U.S. citizenship and the freedom to travel within the United States, as well as our United States partners, as freely as possible without the need for extraneous visas for not only yourself, but for 4 family members under the age of 21. For a limited investment of only $800,000, you can participate in the growth of growing communities across the United States and not have
Who
to be
can? Who are you talking to?
any immigrant
No,
investors.
who can?
You can invest.
There we go. Yes.
You can invest in not only development projects, but as well as your own education, your freedom to travel, the freedom for your family to have access to education and a better way of living.
There we go. That's what I'm talking about. There you go. See, you feel that? You feel that? See, they're paying attention. They're engaged. They feel you. This moment here is called connection. Very good. All right, tell them what you just did. Take a step forward.
Okay, so recently I just brought on a client who needs help with their social media and Instagram, so I'm helping them build a cohesive, how do I say it? Brand, and where it has their feed is cohesive and they build a community.
Okay, watch this. So we're going to make it real relevant. Can I be you for a minute?
Yeah.
Okay. How many of you are on social media? How many of you are sometimes feeling like you're too busy to be on social media? How many of you struggle with getting enough content out so that more people will pay attention to you? You know what? You see how many? Keep your hands up, folks. Now look to your left, the other left. Look to your left, now look to your right. Look at how many hands are up. Folks, this is why I love what I do, because there's so many people here who struggle with the very same things. And I had a client recently come to me saying, I'm struggling. I have a great product, and I'm great at what I do, but this whole social media thing, I don't get it. Or, even when I do get it, I don't have time for all this stuff because I'm busy working the business. That's why I'm here. Okay? And then talk to me about how you created that cohesiveness in the brand. Okay? Now, you don't have to be me. What I'm saying is do it your way. Engage them. Ask them how many of you are on social media. And then ask them about their challenges with social media. Ask them, and then you talk about how they have a problem, you have a solution. And watch what happens next.
Okay. So how many of you are having problems building?
No. Don't make people admit they have a problem. Okay? Let me give you another note. Add this to your notes, please. Since you gave me time, thank you so much. Add this to your notes. When you want your audience to respond, lead them in that response. When you want your audience to respond, lead them in that response. So watch this. How many of you are having a good time today? How many of you are having a good time today? You know, some of y'all are just rebels. When I didn't tell you what to do. I just showed you what to do. So as the leader, you got to lead them. As the leader, you got to let them know what you want. So how many of you are on social media? Some of you, like me. For those of you on social media, then that's what you want to do. You want to lead them in this way. These are subtle ways. These are subtle ways to ensure that the audience stays with you the entire time. Those little moments where we say one thing but do something else, those are called disconnects. And the more disconnected they are, the less likely they are to pay attention. Okay, let's try it again.
So how many of you want to build a cohesive theme on Instagram?
What do you want them to do? Do you want them to say yes? Do you want them to raise their hand? What do you want them to do?
Raise your hand.
Okay, so you raise your hand. So you raise your hand. How many of you are on social media?
Okay. So how many of you are on social media?
Okay. How many of you have ever struggled with finding enough time for social media?
Okay. So how many have struggled with finding the time for being on social media?
Great. Great.
Great. Oh, so I'm supposed to respond.
That's why I'm here.
Oh, okay. So how many of you are having trouble with social media?
Raise your hand high. She's not letting that mic go. She's like, you have problems? Good. Okay. All right, try it again. Come on, have a conversation, folks.
Okay, how many of you are having trouble with finding the time to be on social media?
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay, so how would you like to build a cohesive theme on social media where you can gain followers?
Great, that's why I'm here. That's why I'm here. That's why I'm here.
Okay, that's why I'm here.
And now tell us what you do.
Okay, so I help clients build their own cohesive theme on Instagram where they can get a loyal audience and they can gain a huge following.
There we go! That's all you have to do. Give them a big round of applause, folks. Give them a big round of applause. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Folks, this isn't hard when you know how to do it. Somebody has a question back here. Yes? Oh, you know what? Do we have to run the mic here? Let me do this. Here we go. I'm just trying to show you I've been working out. Yes?
Hi, I'm Dr. Devin Miles. I own a business called It's Time Natural Health.
Say it again. What's your name?
My name is Dr. Devin Miles. I own a business called It's Time Natural Health, in which I emphasize prevention, digestive health, and kidney health. And so when you were discussing how to not market yourself, market what you're doing in the sense of people have a problem, I'm in a business where that rings very loudly in people's ears. If you say, hey, I help you with hypertension, hey, I help you with kidney stones. But really where my heart is that I really prefer to prevent those things in the first place. So I was looking at the cardiology ad very closely to see how that actually would work.
Yes.
But when the person was up here talking about social media, you helped her to say, are you struggling with time for being on Instagram? So where is the fine line between when you tell them, you ask them, do you have a problem versus not saying you have a problem?
Fantastic question. You're a thinker, and I love that about you. So here's the line of demarcation. You're asking about that fine line. Here's the difference. Acknowledging that you don't have time for social media is not a problem for people. People don't say, ooh, you don't have time for Facebook? What's wrong with you? Ooh, girl, you're not on Snapchat? That's not a problem for people. They don't look negatively upon you. So if somebody self-identified as someone who is too busy running their business to be liking, commenting, and sharing, there's no social stigma attached with that. There is a social stigma attached with being unhealthy. So for what you do, you would be in a category where I would not want to make people admit, quote unquote, that they have a problem. And by the way, there is a difference between admitting a problem and acknowledging a problem. So what you want to do is make it very easy for people to acknowledge the issue that happens in their life. Let me show you for you because I like you. Let me show you what this would look like. How many of you have ever known someone, tell me your industry again, with kidney? Say it again, in the mic. Prevention.
Yeah, total preventive wellness, digestive health, and kidney health.
Got it. Mm-hmm. Who else, watch this, this is one of the keys here. Who else besides me has a family history of some illness of some sort? It's like, there's two people, the people who raise their hand and those who are lying. Well, see, I'm so glad you asked this. This is the concept that I teach at Presentation Power called bus stops. For those of you who want to add this to your notes, bus stops. Bus stops are when you speak specifically about yourself, but generically about them. So you say, who else has a family history of any kind of illness? That's just about everybody. For me, the issue was blank, 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 and blank. But what I discovered was that this issue was one that a lot of people have. And like to add, and many people don't even know it. And then you go in to make your case, and this is where you begin to prove what's at stake. You show that a lot of people have this issue, but the problem is there's not enough conversation around it. And the conversation that's happening is insufficient. And what I'm on a mission, you may want to add that to your notes. What's the big idea? What do you want a mission to do? What is your mission? Make it big and sexy. Make it big and sexy. What's that thing that you want to do? You want to level the playing field. Do you want to bring health? Do you want to change the conversation in the world? I took a course at Dartmouth last summer, executive education. And Dr. Ella L.J. Bell said, if you are not trying to change the world in your business, you're being selfish. That hit me right here. So I changed what I do. And I'm on a mission now. So what's your mission? And how are you going to use your mission to change the world? So from that moment, I discovered that I'm on a course to change the conversation around natural health. Because most people have too much misinformation, and it's literally costing us our lives. Does that help? Good. Give her a big round of applause for that question. I can answer one short one in 2 minutes. What? Yes. Oh, sorry.
Thank you. I like what you were saying.
Into the mic, please.
I like what you were saying, and it made me.
Pitch yourself. What is your name? Where are you from? What do you do?
My name is Josette Golette, and I'm a fashion designer from Dallas.
I can see you're a fashion designer. This lady is fly.
Thank you. So are you.
Thank you.
I want to open up, I do custom work, and I want to open up a boutique with African-American designers first, and then other designers. Mm-hmm. And I like what just happened here. She said she liked my glasses. I said, I like yours. And I gave her my card, and I also gave her the name of this boutique in Chicago by a black woman. And you just helped me a lot.
Thank you.
So the way I'm going to pitch what I'm doing is like changing the world. I believe African Americans should be wearing African American clothes first.
There we go. Yes.
So thank you for that. I'm going to work on that.
There we go. That's your blue apple. Do you understand? That there are other designers. Your blue apple speaks to your why. There's a lot of other designers. Yes? I mean, let's say there's 50,000 designers. But there's only one who is saying, I want African Americans to be wearing African American designers. That's you. What? Oh, wearing it first. Same thing. Go ahead, girl. Good job. Hey, I don't want to go over time. I want to be respectful of your time. Let me just tell you, folks, Black Enterprise has done something amazing. Whether you come from across the country, some of you have come from out of the country, some of y'all came from across the street. Let me tell you, there's some heavy hitters in this room. You may not know who you're sitting next to right now, but there are people who are doing some amazing things. There are people who are on television, who've written amazing books. There are people who lead large congregations here, people who I look to and say, wow, I can't believe that this person is in the room right now. There are people who are millionaires. There are people who will be millionaires. Do yourself a favor and learn how to present yourself in a way that reflects all that you've had to go through in order to get here. You owe it to yourself, and you owe it to your story and all of the things you had to go through to be able to pitch and present in a way that makes it connect with these people. See, one of the things I know is that you don't know who they know, and you don't know who they're going to know. So we oftentimes prejudge a person just because we sit next to them and based on what they may look like or what we think they have or don't have. But you don't know who that person is connected to. I promise you, I'm here looking at the room. I know who's in the room. And I know that Exactly what you came to Houston, Texas to get is right here in the room right now. And that is my prayer for you, that this would be the very best event that you have ever had, and may it be done to the glory of the God who put you here. Again, thank you so much. God bless you.
Let's give it up for Jonathan Sprinkles.
I gotta get a shot of us before we leave.
Okay.
Yes. Did you learn something? Yes. Can you use it now? Yes. Are you going to use it now? Yes. Let me get a little call and response. It's not about ideas. Repeat. It's about execution. It's what you do that matters, not what you hear, what you wrote down, and what you learned. So again, another round of applause for Jonathan Sprinkles. I want you to sit tight. In a couple of minutes, you're in for a real treat. Fireside chat with NBA. You know both of these people very well if you're a Houstonite. NBA Hall of Famer Clyde Drexler, Mayor Sylvester Turner of Houston. One of the big reasons that we are here to do this event here in Houston, and it'll be a great, powerful one-on-one, or one-on-two fireside chat with our own CEO, Earl Butch Graves Jr. So sit tight. We're going to get started soon. In the meantime, thanks, Jonathan. And thank you all for...
When this bell rings, it starts a chain reaction that's heard throughout the connected business world. AT&T Network Security helps protect business from